Hello and welcome back to Bricking It. Today we're going to be building Quality Quidditch Supplies and the Daily Profit building in a moment. So let's break it down and show you how we start. So as with each of our moments, we start with the covers. I decided to go with the dark orange for Quality Quidditch Supplies, as it's a mainly red toned building. I thought it'd work quite nicely, and if you look through the windows you'd see a rich polished wood colour. Each of the spines is different. One studs in, one studs out. So this one's the one we use for the build. You see we just use the doormat sticker for Quality Quidditch Supplies to give our spine detail. And Daily Profit is studs in. This is our storage cover. And again, probably blasphemously, I stick it across 4 pieces there just to get that logo centralized. And there we have our storage cover. Okay, let's start our build. So starting with the Quality Quidditch Supplies portion of this build, the most defining and distinguishing feature of this shop front is these window panels. Now we need 6 of them to complete the build, and that's the same as come in the original set, and these were by far the most expensive part of the build out of any of the modules that we did. Well, saying that, along with the windows of flourish and blocks. And if you remember back in our part 1 video where we broke down the cost of this project, and there's a large subtotal for a bricklink order, that was mainly buying these window pieces. But we've got them. I got the 6 of those I need, and the 2 main panels for flourish and blots. So we can start off building up our first module. So we're going to start off with the windowsill. So the windowsill is quite a nicely detailed piece. We start off with our bracket, and then just one of these snot bricks with 4 studs. It's going to sit on top of our bracket with a dark red cheese wedge on top of it. Then we're going to start building up the base of the windowsill. So we bring in one of these modified plates. We're just going to stack modified plates and snot bricks together until we've got the base of our windowsill, and we're going to end up on the other end with another bracket. So all of these are going to be held in place by this piece here. So reddish brown 8x2, covered in these grill pieces in red, again reflecting the original build. Pop those onto our snot bricks, assemble the whole onto the front, and there we have our windowsill. Next up, one of these modified 2x2 plates with the corner angle. This is going to be the first part of our windowsill to accept our windows. We just need also a 1x1 stud. Again, another brick covered in jumper plates. And finish off the other end. Now our windows themselves are quite interesting designs. We're just going to have a look how they're assembled. So here's the main window pane. It's got that kind of small pane look, and to finish it off at the sides we actually have one of these constructions. Now this is just a stack, you can probably see, of 5 headlight bricks with 1x cheese wedges on the top, and these are just going to sit to the side of our construction, just giving our windows a nice angle at the side. So once we pop these on, the main windows install on top of the jumpers. And then we have 1, two at the sides, just showing that our windows stand out nicely, and it gives a bit of depth and dimension. Now we're not going to get as much depth as we do on the original frontage, because if you've seen the main kit, you will know that the whole front half of Quality Quidditch Supplies actually angles very slightly forward. It gives you really nice dimension in the building, but we've only got 4 studs width to work with, and we've already used 2 of them on this side, so we can't go out any deeper than that. We're going to have to stay quite flat. So the window is capped off with another sub-assembly. So here's our window top piece. So it's 10 studs long, have a 1x2 on each end, and that's just going to sit on top of those 2 open studs on top of our window. Then above that, we've got a small decorative piece. We start here with another headlight and cheese wedge assembly. This time the cheese wedge is angled downwards. We've got the first part of our flat roof on top of that. That's just going to sit at the end. Another one on the other end. As each of these has got an open stud in front, we're just going to cap that off with a 1x plate, just to make it a little bit neater and tidier. Then we're going to install our shop signs. It's just a 1x4 with the sticker element on, a jumper and a 2x2 plate on top. Install those above our window. Alright. So that's our first window installed. On the other side of the build, it's almost exactly the same, except narrower. So here's our second part of the build. Just the same assembly style. It's going to sit just here. The good thing about these windows is they are in place for storage. They're in place for storage and for display. That's going to be their final positions in both situations. And as you can see, just 2 studs deep, so they meet up quite nicely. We've got the final part of this one. Also has this unusual piece. Let's get that installed and show you the opposite number. So this is going to be what we use to represent the arch across the doorway. So we can't build it very deep. We can't build it into the doorway area, which I'll show you in a moment. So we're going to need to replicate it just visually here. And you can see the way it works. They're just going to sit and form that arch peak. And we'll show you why they're this unusual shape right now. Let's pop these off. Begin building our doorway. So we're going to start off with a jumper, as we so usually do. Just built this up with a extra plate. That's going to receive our doorway piece, and also our steps. So the steps are just built up of a stack of some plates and some tiles. They're going to sit in the front of the building here. Nicely spaces the walls apart, with this extra piece just here on the front, and that's how our steps will go. We've got our door. Now we have to install the door backwards, just so that the protruding stud here doesn't interfere with the walls of the book when it's closed. And we're just going to drop that onto that assembly just there. And we'll build up the middle of the doorway area with this piece here. So it's just a stack of bricks, and then we've got a few plates in there as well, mixed in. And then just here, just before we transition into the upper colour, we've got a couple of headlight bricks again, and they're going to hold shop sign. Then with our bracket at the top, we can just slot that in there. As you can see, we've got a quaffle sign. Now again, because of storage and depth and other factors, we don't get to have the whole big display of all the balls. So again, to just give it the feel, we've got the quaffle. And pop our top step on here. Now, before we put our archway piece in, we need to finish off this central area. Now this is what we're going to use on either side of the door. Now normally I would integrate these in much better than this, but as you'll see when it comes to storage, they do need to remain separate and independent pieces. Fairly precarious, but because of the nature of the build, once they're installed and our building is straight, it's going to hold those in place. Let's bring these little bits back in to the front of our arch. Install on there. Now we're just going to drop them in behind that quaffle piece, and there you can see it gives that illusion of an arch front to the shop. So we need to keep building. We're going to put the first part of our pink wall in here. It's just made out of obviously bricks and plates. And just get some of those nice pink brackets so they're not standing out too much. And that first part's going to sit on here, and likewise on the other side. But due to the colour restrictions, we've only got a 1x. That's going to be secure enough to hold this whole piece in place. And that's the lower half of our walls. The top half's just going to complement those. So another 3 courses of bricks on top, on each side. As you can see, I've got my roof caps in place. We need to finish off our shop front by continuing that board across the front. That completes that. And to finish off, let's fill in this gap here. Some more bricks. And capital off. That's the finish of the shop. Just need one last detail. Our Quidditch flag to hang down in front. That's the Quidditch Supplies shop portion of this build complete. Let's move on to the daily profit. So the profit door starts off with just that, the profit door. So I've gone almost exactly the same as the build in the main Diagon Alley set, except obviously no more than about 2 or 3 studs deep. Now this doorway actually doesn't live inside this cover, it lives in our other cover, so we've got a bit more depth to play with here, which is good because this is a really ornate doorway. As you can see, we've only got 4 studs of clip space left here, so both of our brackets are at the far end of this build. So we start with our door and add that on there, and then comes the most impressive part of this daily profit build, and that's this ornate archway. Now this is exactly as per the Diagon Alley build instructions. It's got all the same parts and pieces. It's really nice, really like it. Very impressive bit of Lego architecture. That's just going to sit on top. I'm not going to take you through the build of that because you can obviously download the instructions for Diagon Alley from the Lego website and just see how that builds through and all the parts usage. It really does create a really nice little piece. But I'm just going to take it all off just so I can show you the way it works at the back. Now, it looks a bit complicated to fill in, but it couldn't be simpler really, because we're just going to put the top of our roof on, and by use of these 2 high 3 wide arch pieces, you can just see to capture those 2 brackets just there, and it's nearly seamless, and we get this really nice doorway piece. So impressive. Pop those in there. Again, just finish off our roof, and that's it. That's our entire build. Quality Quidditch Supplies and the Daily Profit. Nice, fairly simple one. Didn't need to do too much thinking about the engineering on this one. Went through a couple of iterations for this canopy just to get it to look like what it was supposed to be. And actually this one stores away fairly simply as well. So let's run through that process now. So for storage, we're going to start by removing the Daily Profit. It comes off as one whole piece. And that's going to sit in our second cover over here. Just going to bracket into that cover like that. The extra piece of the roof is going to sit inside the cover. Where are we? Just there. And that will close up nicely. We've got some of our other protruding pieces that also live in here. So our flag, which always wants to leave its Technic pin behind, is also going to sit inside this cover here. It just sticks into a Technic pin in the wall. I've got these 2 little snot bricks here. We're going to hold our troublesome canopy. Sit in here somewhere. There we go. That's one side. And the other side. Oh, come on. There we go. I'll just stud onto that. There. And the last bits to go inside are going to be the roof caps. And they're each going to sit on some studs at the top. So I cover here. Okay, so that's all bits and pieces in there. Just got our quaffle to store now. We do need to retrieve its jumper. And that can just sit up there. So when we close our cover, everything's securely stored inside. Oh, one more piece. Forgot the steps. We do need to remove the top step. Just hold down the step unit, and that will come off. And that's just going to sit inside our cover. And the studs of the spine will all close up nicely. And there we go, stored away. Now you notice there's probably plenty of space for some extra parts in here. And I do sort of want to create the loft that goes up here, just behind the got those really nice window pieces for the Daily Profit storage room, and I'm sure one day I'll get round to it, but today is not that day. Oh, I did have another piece that I needed to take off. Just put that away. You can just clip on, probably like that. Yep. So, for our book, obviously we need to stop at the top of our cover. That means we've got 3 bricks height that need to come away. I'm just going to store inside the book, sitting on these pegs there. The windows either side, I'm going to sit on their own window ledges. Just like that. And then these loosely studded on pieces, just going to rotate through 90 degrees and stud on there. Now obviously this can't close up at the moment because the cover is obscured. We're just going to move the center to the end. And there we go. And we've used almost every stud of space inside that cover to store our shop. It's really economical. It's the only one I didn't have to extend or expand the spine of, other than other storage modules. But I think Quality Quidditch Supplies and the Daily Profit make a really nice, neat little model to add to Diagon Alley. So if you've enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and if you'd like to see other Diagon Alley in a Moment mock videos, please subscribe to Bricking It. Bye bye.